This is a Follow Me video for session 11 on sequences. This is for M7, lists and classes. Open up M7 if you haven't already done so, and follow along with me. This module helps you understand both implementing classes that you've been working on and this module's new material on sequences. Go ahead and put your name there and mark to do one as done. As always, pause the video as needed so that you can keep up with me. The import of testing helper needs to have its sources marked as root, so right-click on SRC, and way down there it says mark directory as sources root. That'll make the testing helper no longer have red on it. Go ahead and do that. Again, pause the video as needed as you're working this. To do 2 says to watch this video, so you're doing just that. In this module, you're given 2 classes, a point class and a circle class. The point has a x and y as instance variables, a clone that returns a copy of the point, and a distance from that returns the distance between this point and the given point. Be sure to use those methods when they are applicable. So when you need to know distance from in this exercise, use the distance from. There's also a circle class. Circles have a center and radius. Now you're going to implement a class called concept map. It's just the beginning of a class that might model concept maps. At this point, all it contains is a sequence of circle objects. It's an artificial example. It's not a real example, but it could be made into a real example, but we're going to keep it simple. So a concept map has a single instance variable so far called self.circles, and it's a list of circle objects, The first method we'll implement together. It's to calculate the sum of the x-coordinates of the centers of the circles that are in self.circles. So for example, if we set circles 1 to these circles and then made a concept map from these circles, and we wanted to know the sum of the x-coordinates, it would be 11 plus 14 plus 10 plus 30 plus 50. Pause the video now and make sure that you understand the specification of the sum of x-coordinates method. Again, it's to loop through all the circles in self.circles and to add up the x-coordinates of the centers of all those circles. Make sure you understand this example before you continue. So this says to follow along with this video and do the implementation, so you're going to do just that. For this module, you're to examine each of the circle objects. Pause the video now and take a moment to write the for statement that would loop through each of the circles in the self.circles instance variable. Pause the video and do that now, and then resume the video to see my answer to that. I hope that you have an answer that is similar to mine here. If not, pause the video and think back and make sure that you're clear about what's happened so far in this problem before you continue. It's to return the sum of the x-coordinates of the centers of those circles. So again, pause the video and write some code there. As you know, that involves totaling, which will involve setting a total variable to 0, and then calculating the x-coordinate of the current circle in the circles list, and then adding it into the total. So pause the video and think about how you access self.circles and type that expression on your version of line 106 there. So you should have x equal, and then how you access self.circles. Get that right, then resume the video to see my solution to that part of the problem. I hope you've written simply self.circles as I have here. Then pause the video and think about what goes next in that expression to access the kth item in that list. Again, pause the video, do that, type your stuff in, and then resume the video to see that you're doing what I'm doing. I hope you've typed bracket K bracket, just like I've done. Then think about how you access the center of that circle, because self.circlesK is a circle. So pause the video, think for a moment about how you access the center of that circle. And I hope you see that it's just like you would access the center of any other circle, dot center. Circles bracket K bracket is the kth circle in the list. Pause the video again and decide what you would type after this to access the x coordinate of that center. I hope that you see that it's just a dot x like you would for any other point, since self.circlesK.center is a point. You then finish off, pause the video again, finish off the method, and then run your test. Once you've done that, check to see compare your code to mine. Here is my solution. Make sure that yours is the same, that yours passes the test with a solution that is the same as this. I'm now showing you my solution in the test. I'm going to move it so that the output is off there to the right. All of the tests, every single one for every single method in this module, every single test has exactly two tests. One, a concept map 1 built off that list that I just highlighted, and then a concept map 2 built off that second list of circles. So throughout, you'll be using those same two examples. As always, as usual, I've given you test cases, and you can see here that this code passed the test cases. Now, passing the test cases, there are only two, so it may well be that your code is wrong. It's not much evidence that your code is right, but these are intended to be simple exercises that you'll, I think, get right as you go, and passing the test will give you some confidence. Mark to-dos 2 and 3 done if you haven't, or to-do 2, 3, and 4 done if you haven't already. And I just want to point out that the thing that you'll do next after this video is the number of small circles, the number of the circle objects in self.circles whose radius is less than the given threshold. So for example, if that same example, circles 1 will be the same throughout all the methods here. The number of ones whose radius is less than 15 is there's 1 at 10, 1 at 8 radius, 1 at 5 radius, and 1 at 12, for a total of 4. So that would return 4. Number of small circles of 15. Number of small circles 10 would return 2, because there are 2 of them whose radius is less than 10. All right, that concludes this Follow Me video. I hope that you've got a successful start to this module, and that you enjoy the rest of this module, in which you'll combine the idea of implementing a class with the idea of writing methods that deal with sequences.